Hello there guys, it's me again, Unstable Voltage, and I have been playing a nice little game that I have found on Kickstarter. It's by a company called Ironward, and the game goes by the name of the Red Solstice, and it's a competitive real-time strategy RPG game. It's actually a lot of fun to play, and I got the opportunity this afternoon to jump into a game with H, the lead developer, and a few more of the development team. It's only got a few days to go before its Kickstarter's up, so I thought it'd be nice to share this with you guys. Have a look at it, see what you think to it, and go to their Kickstarter and show them your support. Hope you enjoy. There we go, so I'm in and I have to pick a class, I assume.
Yes, you can pick one of the three classes with your experience as a rookie, medic, heavy support, and assault. I suggest going with an assault using a combat knife instead of a grenade launcher. You can swap your components under the components tab.
Alright, I see. So components, so I've got critical shot system, stims, light weapon, and a grenade launcher. So if I change the grenade launcher to the combat defensive module.
Yes.
That one. Okay, brilliant. So to start off with then, you can only actually play as the three classes until you unlock more with experience.
Yes, exactly. And you will unlock more weapons and stuff as you advance.
And you can obviously I can see here you can have multiple people all playing the same class if you want.
Yeah, some classes are limited due to balance issues. For example, Terminator, he can be only one, and Marksman, he can be only one. Those are like high skill classes that are harder to play, but can bring a lot more to the team itself.
But then obviously you've got things like heavy supports and assaults, and I've seen probably medics as well, possibly.
Yes.
Multiples. Brilliant. Okay, so now I can see I've got some power-ups I could pick from. Well, I've only got one I could pick from, really, which is an ammunition booster, I think.
You could put three the same, exactly. But I don't suggest putting for a rookie rank all the three of ammunition boosters because it will slow you down a lot.
Right, okay. I'll put one in there. So it reduces my speed by 0.09, but it gives me a bit of a... Is that a faster... slightly faster, longer reload time. But
yes.
It does but I do more damage. So you can stack these up, and they'll give you some penalties, but they'll also give you some bonuses as well.
Exactly.
And obviously, there's a lot of achievements there that can be unlocked.
Yeah, and every achievement improves your character in a way. So it's not like a standard achievements that do nothing. You have to earn them and fight for them, and then you get a bonus to damage or a skill or something.
Oh, great. Okay, so there's actually a point to them as well, instead of it just being a prestige thing.
Yes.
Okay, right, so let's, I'll ready up. So you're going to be leading this mission, you're going to be setting all the waypoints, because I'm terrible at that.
Okay, no problem. There's going to be just a lot of hectic stuff, so try to stick near me, basically. I'll keep you safe. We have two heavy supports, so we'll be able to keep enemies away without getting too hurt.
So like I said, I have played the prologue a couple of times just to try and get used to the controls. So I know I've got my the E key puts my auto fire on, and Y is sprint. So I'm definitely going to have my fingers around those keys.
Yeah, definitely. Also, pressing the left mouse button cancels any aiming you had, so you can keep moving at normal pace. That's important.
Right, okay.
That's important, tiny thing to know.
So here we go then. So which one are you?
I'm the one with the bloody armor, the scale armor, Cyrus.
Oh, right, okay. So I'm going to try and stick near you and avoid getting killed. So this is the Red Solstice. We are instantly being attacked by... I assume this is aliens because this is set on Mars, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, left clicks to fire. So I shouldn't run towards them. There we go. So... For the people watching, can you explain a little bit about exactly what sort of game the Red Solstice is?
Hello everybody. Red Solstice is about survival. 8 players need to survive for 1 hour versus various types of monsters, creatures. And they have to do it by managing supplies, searching for them, finishing various missions in a sandbox open random map. You can press escape to show them how big the map is, and players choose and lead their own team in any way they want. The idea and inspiration behind Red Solstice are games like XCOM, Syndicate Wars, Dawn of War, and that kind of
I have
gameplay.
lost all contact with Sarah. Prior to that, Sarah had detected a virus infestation in this sector.
So I've got a bit of brilliant timing there with the the voice acting from Tara.
And retrieve valuable cargo or information.
It isn't too loud, maybe.
I found a
No,
location
I'm
related
fine.
to UBL
So,
and UNF.
This is a
I suggest
very
investigating the area.
tactical, squad-based game.
Exactly. So, for example, you can see me, I've put the waypoints for our team now, and we're gonna explore the most dangerous places first as a team. And idea is to stick together. So, like, some certain players will go out, scout, and bring us supplies. For example, ammunition is very important to manage, so you see the darkness around you. If you shoot monsters in the dark, you will miss a lot, which means you will waste a lot more ammunition. And by the end of the game, you will kill a lot of stuff, but you will end up being without ammo. So this brings you at a bad position, basically.
I've also got a very useful warning that tells me to stay away from corpses, because they won't always stay dead.
Yes, they basically, we could say they revive into a lower tier of a creature. So for example, if you kill a normal humanoid monster, it will revive in a 4-legged monster, which will revive in a parasite at the end. So you can stop that, for example, by shooting a grenade on top of them, and they will not revive anymore, or using energy weapons to take them out. So there's various tactics and skills players can apply to make their game easier. It's a lot of decision-based game where if you decide enough very early and enough, you will be rewarded for it in the future, basically. So choosing where to scout, why to scout early is very important, for example.
Now, you have mentioned that the resources are limited, so particularly things like ammo. And I'm going to sprint now because I've got a bit of a group of things following me.
So I have, for example, those orders as a leader. So 2 players can be leaders, so I can tell you like hold position or follow me, which is very useful sometimes when a lot of things start happening.
So the controls are very simple. I mean, it's simply you just click to move, and then you've got another button to fire. But you've got some nice things. You've got the ability to put this auto fire on, which means that my guy will just automatically open fire at anything that comes near him. So I can move along, albeit more slowly. I can sort of walk along without having to manually aim at everything that gets too close to me.
Exactly, you can, for example, shoot and move that way. Of course, auto-aim has its penalties. Even though it targets everything on the screen, it will probably make you waste more and more ammunition, which is bad in the end. So you have to use it carefully, basically. So everything that you do basically matters in the long term, like literally everything. At the moment, for example, I'm poisoned, and I should find some kind of medical supplies.
I was going to say, you do seem to be taking quite a bit of
Yeah,
quite a bit of health loss.
We didn't get a medic, which was kind of a bad idea.
So are there any other ways to heal up in the game without having a medic?
Yes, I can basically, there's 4 types of supplies, medical, that I can find using those lockers I'm searching. And if I find them soon enough, I'll be cool, basically. So, yeah.
So obviously, as we've said, there are 8 different classes, and this is a game designed for co-op up to 8 players. So you can have 8 different people playing 8 different classes. Is it going to be possible for people to play this if they've got a smaller group of friends and don't want to play with random people?
Yes, exactly. Idea is that players can play it, for example, from 1 to 8 people. But the most fun is obviously with 8 people. But if players want to try it alone, then they will be able to do so. So we definitely want to balance it out so it's accessible to every type of player.
And obviously you're going to have the ability for people to join lobbies and group up with sort of random people who are also playing the game.
Yes, so players can like create a private game or join already existing games to play. There will be also encouragement, for example, veteran players when they play, they will gain additional bonus to experience if they teach new players and rookies and bring them to high-end game, basically.
Now, you're also planning to add a single-player campaign, which was originally going to be a stretch goal, I believe, but you've now said that you'd like to add that into the game regardless.
True. Single player was something we always have thought of, but never had like real since the game is mostly multiplayer. Single player was always like, if we can do it, we can do it. We would love to have it, but it's not our primary goal. But it's definitely something we have thought of thoroughly, and it's basically the multiplayer is basically a story that continues on top of the single player finished story. So basically, when the single player comes in, the player is gonna fill in the gaps they had from the multiplayer story, because the multiplayer story itself goes to the grand finale, which has few different endings based on your performance on the field.
Okay, so the multiplayer is actually part of a story campaign. It's not just a collection of
Yes.
sort of random skirmishes. There is a progression to it.
Yes, there's exactly you can like ignore the missions. Those are the random missions you can finish or not. You can ignore them or finish them completely, and they will affect the ending of the game basically.
And what about the actual multiplayer missions themselves? Are there different sort of objectives and mission types?
Yes, they're handled in a very different way, because in a single player we plan to have like one big mission with a few side missions inside of it. So it's basically single player is linear type of the gameplay. While the multiplayer, it's basically non-linear. You decide where you want to go and what you would do. For example, we have currently a mission that's Project Terra. We decide we will ignore it because at the moment it makes our game easier. If we finish it, we will get a secondary mission which continues on the first Project Terra mission. If we finish all 4 of the missions from Project Terra, we will get a different ending based on it, for example. If we ignore it completely, well, different ending of course for failing a mission. So it's basically like what the player wants to do, he will do it. So it's not.
So it's actually quite open-ended then. You're not necessarily going to be railroaded down a particular storyline. You've got several different actions and different outcomes to go with them all.
Exactly. So
there's going to be quite a lot of sort of replayability for people who want to go back and sort of replay through and get a different ending, make
True.
different decisions.
Definitely. So basically, if you want to try out something else, something harder or something simpler, you can do it. So we want the most important thing we're proud of this game is that the players have a lot of options they can use.
Now I've noticed that some of your guys are putting down explosives, and there seems to be quite a lot of bigger, nastier aliens starting to
Yeah,
pop up
the
around
bosses
there.
and the harder stuff is coming.
Intercepting
So we are
transmission.
basically setting up an explosive here to
Insurgent
blow the
forces
big
are
guy.
trying to detonate
the big
shield
guy
in
up
your
there.
area. Coordinates received.
So
It
because
is
if we do not
advised to eliminate
like
the
explode
rebels and
him,
disarm the
he will
ship
waste a
before
lot of
killing.
ammunition, and this is bad because we need ammo.
So this is the boss here, this big guy with the green aura and the ball and chain.
Yeah, this is like a first boss, like one of the easiest bosses you have to handle. But his tactical role, I mean his role versus the team itself is he pushes you. You cannot hold position and just kill him without explosives easily. So the idea is to bombard him with everything you got before he reaches you. Or pushes
How many
you, I
different sort of bosses and aliens and monsters do you have in the game at the moment?
At the moment, there's like more than 20 different monsters. Like every monster with some type of role, and there is more than 15 bosses basically. And we plan to add like a few more. Idea is that each boss should serve as some kind of role. So it's not just you put up HP and put a role. And that's it. So it must have a purpose, a specific purpose. That's the idea. So basically, in the end, you will not know which boss will come next. So you will have to gather intel what's coming next to be able to handle it properly. For example.
So I assume as well you'd like to continue. Oh, I'm being munched on by something.
Yeah, it's a snatcher.
I assume that you'd like to continue support with this game even once it's funded and carry on adding additional components and additional monsters and things like that as time goes on.
Exactly. Our goal is basically to continue support for at least 1 or more years. Like basically, this is one huge map at the moment. We would like to add a few more maps. There is this is a Tarsis colony, according to the story. And there is 7 sectors inside this colony, and this is only first sector we will be introducing with the release. And with more DLCs and content, if everything goes good, we would definitely like to introduce the other sectors, more equipment, even more 2 more classes like psychotic or engineer. Definitely we would like to put more content into the game after the release itself.
Now, I see quite a lot of the guys in the squad now are all starting to get little icons on the left-hand side of their characters. I assume there's some sort of buffs or upgrades they've picked up.
Yes, yes.
Along
There is
the
like
mission.
you mean on the left side those icons?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are currently missions. Current available missions. We have like mission that's nuclear bomb and the Project Terra. Project Terra is a primary mission we can go for, but we will not. And Disarm Nuke is a mission where basically insurgents has planted a nuclear bomb, and if we don't disarm it, it will detonate. Which is pretty bad because it will turn most of the lights in that part of the sector, which is obviously bad for us.
Right, I don't think I want to be at the back of the group here, so I'm just going to sprint into the middle of everybody. I see the actual soldiers as well have got little icons next to their characters. Like there's a little bullet and there's a little sort of like a health icon and.
Yes, basically, those bullets say to every other player how much ammunition that player has. So if it's red, it's a bad situation. If it's white, it's very good.
Right, okay.
So everybody can see, okay, we have an entire team has certain amount of ammunition, or entire team lacks a certain amount of ammunition. So it's very good for everybody to know what kind of situation they're being at the moment. And now we're getting a bit swarmed, which is not a good thing, but I think we'll hold on.
Things are starting to heat up now.
Yeah,
I've
it's
noticed this.
definitely starting to heat up.
Now, I noticed as well that there are quite a lot of environmental interactions. There are lots of crates that you can move around. There are barrels that you can throw. There are sort of gas cylinders that you can shoot. So, how big a part do these environmental elements play within the missions and the maps?
Depends. Basically, it's more. They play more of a role to the survival itself. For example, if you don't have those explosives, they can be only detonated with another external explosion. So if you don't have any grenade launchers or stuff like that, you can throw a barrel on top of it, and it will detonate the explosive itself. So they're more like asset for experienced player. You know, like using environments to your own advantage. So they really help, basically, if you know how to use them. Of course, if you throw a toxic barrel in the middle of the team, it's not very good stuff.
So I guess you can't really shoot at each other, but there's certainly friendly fire with explosions.
Yeah, there's a lot of friendly fire. Basically, everything you think that can kill you, it probably can, other than the bullet. So
now, obviously, parts of these missions are procedurally generated. Now, you've mentioned that the maps are static, but the actual content within them is sort of randomly generated.
yes, everything other than the map itself, we want to make random generated. Basically, monsters, resources, missions, everything. So players really have every time they play a different experience. That's our goal. So we definitely don't want players to play the game twice and have the same experience. It's really an ambitious thing we're trying to do, because obviously some games are going to be the same, but we really want to put that to the highest level possible. So the experience is very different.
I mean, there certainly is a big fun element to it. I mean, maybe I'm not demonstrating that quite so well because I'm not playing really tactically here, because I'm obviously trying to keep my chain of thought and ask you relevant things. And you know, I'm quite new to this. I'm with a team of very experienced guys here who all kind of know what they're doing. And I'm just sort of running around trying to stay alive at the moment. I'm now down to 13 bullets as well, which is a little bit of a concern for me. So I need to find some rubble and try and pick up some more ammo.
Here, I dropped an ammunition box for you. Here, take another.
Oh, I see. So I think somebody else keeps taking them.
Alright, he's taking ammo from you.
So this is one of the things that you can do as your class, is you can actually... so what class is it you're playing at the moment? Are you the heavy support?
Yes, I'm playing the heavy support, and basically the class has highest DPS and eats all your ammunition. So
you can drop ammo for me as well.
Yeah, everybody can drop ammo. Everybody can drop ammunition. Basically, if I'm currently trying to hold as much of the team firepower I can, and this is my role. I have to manage the creeps. I have to manage the safety of the team, basically, and I am all about managing firing modes with minigun and moving and shooting, and especially reloading at the right time. Because, for example, my reload is 10 seconds long, which can basically be a victory or death. Well, there's like other classes. There's 8 different classes in the game. So, for example, Assault, he's like jack of all trades. He's the guy that basically can save any situation, or, for example, He has a combat knife. You're playing as an assault. Like, he's great for rookies because he's very easy to play, you know. For example, there's a Terminator, which is a complicated class to play, and he is all about energy weapons, big instant damage and mass destruction. And there's Marksman, who's like, you must pick targets with Marksman very carefully. For example, bosses, and shoot them far away so they don't reach the team. And if you're not within the cover of your own team, you will be swarmed and killed. You're very dependent on your team itself. So there's a lot of classes that basically have different roles. For example, Demolition, his main role is to blow the big baddies we saw before, and to take care of the bosses and kill all the creeps that might pose a huge threat to the team and have high amount of health. And also,
so it's not just a case of taking a huge group of people and... Oh, I'm going to get in real trouble in a moment. It's not just a case of taking a huge group of people and just going out gun-ho like a twin-stick shooter. You definitely need synergy between the different classes to be able to play effectively as a team.
Yeah, on higher difficulties you definitely need to exactly know what you're doing, because at the moment to an observer it might seem we're just shooting and running, but there's a lot of tiny stuff that
I'm definitely just shooting and running. Actually, I'm not even shooting now because I'm out of ammo, so all I'm doing is running. But I think it's because you guys are all experienced and you actually know what you're doing, and you're definitely picking up my slack here.
Yes, actually, there's the first problematic enemy at the moment, so if everybody's not shooting at him, you'll probably end up dead, and I'm the first one to happen. So yeah, he pretty much gave me 2 venoms, and this is not good.
I'm sure that I've actually picked up... I'm down to my pistol now. I'm sure I've actually picked up a couple of these clips and ammo boxes, but nothing seems to be making my amount of ammo go up.
Yeah, you have to use it from your inventory, basically.
Oh, right, okay. That would have been nice to know. So, right. Oh, there's my inventory. Right, okay. Ah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so you have all those items you can manage and you have to manage, which are very important.
I should have read the manual. There we go. So let's change back to my... So I have my main weapon. I have a sidearm. I also have a knife as well, which is part of my equipment. I know from playing the prologue there was also the grenade launcher as well.
Did you use the skill points? Basically, you level up using the mobile levels, basically. So you can, in your orange icons, you can invest waypoints there.
Oh, right, okay. So I could get something like better shot or more damage.
Yes, or additional skills. The blue icons are skills which are enabled through your skill points, which you invest in components. These are your orange points, basically.
So yeah, that was something that I'd missed. So again, this is one of those things where, as you actually play through the game, you actually level up and get better as you play through the level.
Yes, exactly. As you play through the level, just try to go. Oh, that's a pretty bad situation at the moment, but we might handle it. All right, just.
So I got a little bit behind with leveling up my skills because I hadn't completely realised that. So, but I'm getting better now. Let's start shooting back. So, as well as the actual multiplayer sort of story campaign elements, is there going to be any sort of online competition? Is there going to be leaderboards or a ladder system?
Yeah, we definitely want to introduce a ladder system and some kind of a competition so players can see who's the best survivor and stuff like that, but we don't know exactly when will that happen.
So it is planned for the future, but and with that in mind, is there going to be some sort of social system like creating guilds and that sort of thing?
Yes, we want to implement so players can create different kind of guilds and together come into clans, basically, because that will enable more, better cooperative experience when you play with people you know and stuff like that.
Obviously.
I just
if you've got a group of people you play with regularly. Right, okay, so what happens if you die in this game? Are you out for good? Is that it?
At the moment, yes, until you try to move to your team, so the south. You have a medic who can revive you, basically, or you can call in reinforcements using the mission. You just got that reinforcement mission, basically.
But obviously, it was a bit of a tactical error because we didn't take a medic with us.
Yeah, that was one of the bigger errors. I forgot to warn the team. I also forgot to warn them that I will not be fully focused on the game since we are talking here, but maybe they can manage and revive, basically, revive me or whoever dies more. Mort and Lon are very experienced players, so they should be able to pull something through. Right, you can use a medkit on yourself. Just
Yeah, I was trying to. I was trying to click on the right thing. Is it left click and then click on myself?
yes,
Yeah, there we go. So what difficulty are we playing on at the moment?
normal. This is normal. The game is a bit more maybe hard for new players, but we plan to address that. It's still in alpha, so we're still tweaking the difficulty itself. We want to be able to make it so when there's lower amount of players, the difficulty is lower. When there's higher amount of players, the difficulty adjusts. Also based on their player rank and experience, basically.
Yeah, of course, that's one of the very important things that we must point out to people, that this is still an alpha. It's not finished, it's not balanced, there are bits and pieces that you haven't added yet, and there are a few bits and pieces that aren't necessarily working the way that you intend them to in the finished game, and obviously that's why you're going through Kickstarter. You've been working on this for, well, over 5 years now as a team, haven't you?
Yes, yes, we've been working over 5 years. Like we started working on it from the college, and then we gathered into a full team and decided we really want to polish it and create a proper game from it. But in the beginning, we created our own engine for this game, basically, from the scratch, which was not a smart idea, but we did it anyway. It's a fun fact that every creation developer has their own engine, basically created from scratch.
I think I'm bleeding out here.
Yes, you definitely are.
Moving very slow and losing quite a bit of health.
Yeah, maybe they will be able to cover you. Maybe. You see, this point is a good thing to throw some barrels out. Maybe.
Throw some what, sorry?
Yeah, everything is going into bad direction, so probably you're gonna die.
It looks like that might well happen. Oh, there we go. I just dropped down dead.
Yeah, we just we didn't scout too much for medical supplies, and that's what happens.
And I can see now we're actually getting quite a lot of those big boss type creatures on the screen there as well.
Yeah, you have to basically you get a nuke drop on this wave, and you have to use a nuke on those creatures to kill them, basically. And the nuke is pretty big. I hope you will be able to see it, maybe. Some of the guys,
I can keep watching the rest of the guys and see what's going on. So there's also progression in this. Obviously there's progression inside the game where you can pick your various skills. Like you said, it's a bit like a MOBA. Is there progression outside of the missions as well?
Yes, basically every player has a global rank and a specialization rank, and as you play, wherever you finish the survival mission, the multiplayer mission or not, you earn experience for everything you do, killing monsters, finishing objectives and stuff like that. And at the end of the game you can be promoted to the next rank, which gives you bonuses, different weapons, power-ups, and ways to customize your character even further. And the second global rank is specialization rank, which as long as you play one class more, you will gain additional components and skills for that class to be able to customize it even more to your playstyle. So there's a lot of progression and unlockables players can do.
Now, I guess it's important to say that obviously it is going through Kickstarter at the moment. At the time of recording this video, we are, 3 days away from it being finished, something like that?
Yes, there's 3 days left for our Kickstarter campaign, so if you think this is something for you, check it out. There's like a demo, and we will have last 72 hours, we'll have free access for everybody to join the multiplayer match and see if they like the game or not.
So you're about 80% funded at the moment, so you're not asking for a huge amount of money. You've already put a lot of your own time and a lot of your own money into this to make this game a reality. And what you're actually asking for now seems like quite a modest and small amount.
Yeah, basically these are the costs, so we can polish the game properly. So it's really a professional professional product, and so we can add a lot more content to the game itself, because we still feel that it lacks some kind of that random factor, like more monsters, more missions and stuff like that, to make the game very, very fun and replayable. So this is what the Kickstarter is for. We really want to make it a product we are 100% proud of.
I mean, it's certainly very fun what you have already in this alpha. Obviously, it's probably a bit more fun if you play better than I do. This is mainly why I play turn-based games. just because I'm generally terrible at action. But what I have played of it so far has been very fun, and I think it's a very easy game to actually get into. Maybe more difficult to master, but it's certainly fun going around shooting all these waves and hordes of monsters and aliens. And I'd advise everyone to go and check it out. I'll put a link to the Kickstarter in the description to the video. I'll also put it in an annotation on the screen. So go over to Ironward on Kickstarter and have a look at the Red Solstice and show them your support.
Right.
And that with Nuke.
Yeah.
I mean, I was limited to how much of the screen I could see off the edge there, but I've just seen an amazing explosion that's wiped out almost half of the map.
Exactly. Did you press tab to switch from player to player?
I wasn't aware that I could do that, but I still saw a lot of the explosion. So, you see, I'd be so much better at this if I actually knew what all of the controls were. But there's only one guy left now, and that's it. So, we failed the mission.
We failed.
Maybe we'd have done better with a medic and an assault that wasn't me. But thanks very much. Thanks for letting me come and play the Red Solstice. And a reminder to everybody that for the last 72 hours on Kickstarter, you are going to be able to play this alpha. So go to the Kickstarter page, download the demo, and get playing. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.